For years, we've heard that the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's always been kind of hypothetical. It's always been kind of a like, yeah, that's happening. It doesn't really affect my day-to-day. I think now, and I think in New York particularly, you're starting to see it affect your day-to-day. The climate has changed. And the reason we're closing this place down, and I should make it really clear, we're closing this place down, is not being closed down. We're closing it down because we don't want to be closed down. The reality is we're in the way of something else that's trying to happen in this neighborhood. And what that thing that's trying to happen is a lot more powerful than what we are. And we're not wanted here anymore. Because there's two things at play. There's forces that might come in to shut the place down prematurely, and then there's the end of the lease. This is a one-story building in a neighborhood that's turning really high-rise. And because it's a one-story building, it's pretty obvious the owners are just sitting on it, waiting to sell until, they have or the offers are in the place that they want them to be. So they're just signing short-term leases with, people who are willing to come into a space without being able to justify really putting any serious money into it, because they just want to get somebody to be a placeholder until they can knock it down and sell it to a developer and build something tall. Which is why we're here, why Glasslands is here, why Death by Audio is here. It's all one building. And it's only here because of real estate, and it's going to go away because of real estate. So we feel that it's time to just go out with dignity and to go out on our own terms, rather than subjecting the people who work here and ourselves to a lot of undue stress and a lot of undue risk.
Don't be scared to touch the wall, it doesn't bite. There we go, my friends. There we go.
This is the line for tickets, yeah?
Only tickets. You don't have a ticket, get the fuck out of the line. All right.
When Todd started off with the space, I don't believe that he had any faith in it or its sustainability. And it's shocking that we've been open for this long. Even getting out now feels like we're totally getting away with something. And it's not just because the neighborhood is developing at such a rapid pace. It's also because, the nature of DIY venues and shows is incredibly transient. It's just as transient as the music that is, comes through its doors. It's always changing, and there's really no way to get around the fact that it's illegal. You just can't. And if the wrong person comes by to try and ruin the fun, they can.
I'm not really even fazed anymore by that dude that goes to parties with like a balloon on his head. People will come here and they'll be like, do you know why we're here? Like, unicorn meat got shut down. And I'm like, oh, like I don't know what that is, but like, welcome.
What is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? Is that porn? So you guys just knew to dress like this, or what is this?
No, we coordinated. We've been knowing each other. We've been doing this for years.
We felt like if we dressed like this on South Section, then there would be people come take pictures of us. And we are such publicity orders. Oh, cool. That we Tell me about your book. I'm into it.
I read one of those interviews where someone was like, oh, New York is not, they're trying to be snobbish about like the whole like, I don't know why people are causing a fuss. New York has never been a nostalgic city or whatever. And that's bullshit. Like, New York's a very nostalgic city, and people are excited to say that they were there when, shit hit the fan. And awesome shit hit the fan at 285 Kent, and a wide group of people from fucking like Norwegian tourists to like street kids.
To like club bitches,
yeah,
from Manhattan,
to computer dorks, to like every kind of person, and that's a testament to the booking and promotion via Todd P. and Rick.
everybody online can be like, what's the big deal? There'll be another DIY space. Fuck this shit. Who cares? But that's just, you don't care because maybe you're not the ones that it's important to right now, you know? And like, I actually know that that's true for me. I have a kid now. Nobody's trying to impress me with their DIY show. Like, I'm not the dude, but it is sad because the people that need it, that need to have their minds opened by this type of situation, it's gonna be sad for them.
Like, this is the thing you've been working on almost exclusively for the last 3 years of your life, and now it's 100% done. Like, it's not happening anymore where it was.
I still haven't found another place I feel at home at.
Yeah, I don't really have anything in terms of work or in terms of just like a home base, because this is kind of like a central hangout spot for a lot of people, even a lot of like musicians, as well as just like people that hang out to come see the shows. I mean, the Silent Barn is trying to kind of recreate that like always open thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep looking.
I've seen these crazy architectural sketches. I guess they're like of what it actually is going to look like. Looks pretty futuristic, but you're like, damn, I don't know who is gonna be able to afford to move in there.
This neighborhood is a pain in the ass for everybody. It's not just us. Next door, Glasslands had legal trouble, like right at the same time we did. Like everybody around here is getting hassled. The only person I know who didn't get fucked with, death by audio. Which is great.
In New York, it's like you'll do a couple shows and then you'll be shut down, or you know, you'll move, try to like make things happen, and then you'll have like one neighbor that doesn't like you. You know, and it's just really a shame that we can be so polarized in a city that is known for this. Like, and that's the reason those kids moved to this city, because they wanted this action, they wanted this excitement, and now it seems like the people who have moved into these apartments are like, could you keep it down? Like, I'm trying to raise a family in Williamsburg, New York. Does that sound like a bad idea? Because it sounded like a cool idea to me. I'm a cool dad. You know, I listen to Depeche Mode and shit, but can you just turn it down like a little? That's gonna happen. New York is constantly changing. You talk about like gentrification and all this stuff, that and the other thing, but the next step is East New York and like Bed-Stuy. And that's the last fucking thing I wanna do, is move into those neighborhoods, because those are actual neighborhoods where people live and have lived for a long fucking time. Whereas Williamsburg waterfront, this was warehouses. Like, you're talking about moving into actual neighborhoods. Who's gonna be able to do a DIY show? But like, we make it. We squeak by every month, and our landlords really like us, and you know, they've given us this great gift, and like, they continue to work upstairs, and they're sweet people, and yeah, God bless them for letting us do all this stuff. Like, but I think there's also motive in there too. I'm sure that they know exactly what they're doing in letting this like awesome like these art collectives do their thing in their buildings over the years. You know, like even before 285, Shinkoio, like, you know, that place was crazy. Like, you imagine 285 is this big empty space. Now imagine it a hive of 16 rooms.
And it was Jelko and this dude, his name was Mario, and I think his name was Mario. They were both from Oberlin, and they both lived here. And that incarnation was actually like the complete reverse of what this space is right now. And the show space was there. So it's like the lobby where, you know, you would get tickets and shit. That's actually where the shows were. It was right in front of the door.
But whoever it was before had sort of built this little wood platform that the kitchen would rest on. It must have been for plumbing or something like that. And so that just became the stage. So like, we'd be up on, like the stage would be like up next to the big pile of dirty dishes, or like somebody would be like cooking dinner while shows were happening and stuff like that.
And then they stopped doing shit here in 2010. And then for a hot second, the lease was given to John Barclay, who named this place Bohemian Grove, which is a really dumb name. But he, but he did a hell of a job with this space, and he's doing a hell of a job right now. His new bar that he has, Bossa Nova, is just it's fucking incredible. It's unreal.
Originally, when I went in, the place was like a mess. And I called the guy and I was like, I really like this spot. If you guys like clean it up a little bit, we'll take it. And he was like, no, we're not gonna do that. So I just kind of forgot about it, and then he called me back and was like, oh, we cleaned it up. And they totally cleaned everything up, repainted everything. It was like shiny, you would never recognize it now. And so we signed the lease. I paid a guy like $200 to add that really bad bathroom in there. And threw some like really cheap lights in there and started throwing raves like immediately.
Had it for a few months. He'd been putting on parties here, mostly electronic stuff. And he had a big police raid and was just kind of spooked. He didn't want to be here anymore. And sort of wanted to, do something more legit. And I'd asked him if I could put on a New Year's Eve party here, which was like 2010, 2011 New Year's Eve. And he was like, hey, you want to just take it over?
And he said, yeah. And then after that, I did a spot in Deep Bushwick called Trip House, which was like this giant horror, garbage, psychedelic mansion kind of thing. And then I opened this spot. This is like a fully licensed, legit, smaller, maybe not as like, it's not as exciting as the world of DIY, but it's a good spot. The irony is, of course, the city, the cops, they fuck with you like 20 times more if you're a legit licensed spot.
The best part about when someone opens up a DIY space is that they're reinventing the wheel. There's not like they're not like, oh, I downloaded the PDF and I'm doing it to the T and it's going great. It's very much like everyone discovers these same problems, and through that, I don't know, almost like rite of passage, your venue becomes both similar to previous ones, but also insanely unique.
Things kind of started to change around the second year of the spot. We built this crazy stage. And then come that summer, it was just unbelievably hot. And there's no ventilation in here. It's just a cement box. The roof used to be a parking lot. So it just gets hot as hell. It's just like raw cement up there. So, we were getting these crazy shows, but then people couldn't breathe and it was just unbearable. So Rick and I kind of were at a quandary of like, what do we do? We're gonna put money into this crazy warehouse that we don't expect to last. But we were like, well, shit, we just should do it. And so we sort of spent, I think, more money than either of us had ever spent on any one thing in our lives, and bought this crazy air conditioning system. And I think that after we kind of put that last puzzle piece in of the air conditioning, Rick was able to kind of parlay that into getting some respect from the booking industry, from the booking agencies. And we started to get some really like serious shows and get taken seriously as a kind of force in the scene. And since then, it's just kind of gotten bigger and bigger and ballooned and ballooned. And we've always also, in addition to kind of having that level of production, we also had that level of hype. I mean, we're never afraid to kind of milk it and play it. We did a lot of sort of Twitter wars and like social media bullshit and secret appearances and like all manner of things to play the game and to, kind of keep the place in the public eye and get notice, because, we wanted to make sure that the bands who came through got the show that they deserved.
Perfect. I was never punched out, but I know that like we've had at least one sound guy get like punched out. You know, it's a challenging place to do sound, I guess. But I like to think that I do an okay job of it.
Everybody gets off on having an experience that just feels like it's about to rip apart at the seams at any second. You know, you're playing through a guitar amp that you know is just about to break because they've, you know, been using it for every single show for, you know, a million years.
I can understand being a band that's not used to playing DIY spaces and then going to one, being like, I thought this was like the cool place to play. Like, what the fuck? What is this? You'd be like, yes, this is why it's cool to play here, because people make music out of this.
It's a pretty nice sound system, honestly, way beyond any other DIY space. But the point just being, people don't talk about sound because they know what the fuck they're talking about. People talk about sound because it makes them think they sound like they know what the fuck they're talking about. Whether or not that doesn't address the question of how good or bad our sound is, but it does address the fact that it's kind of like those Yelp commenters. We're talking about people with a bunch of shit for brains. That said, it's a cement box with a cement floor and a tin ceiling. If there's nobody in here, it's going to sound like you're inside of a pipe. You know, it's an airplane hangar. Yeah. But once it's full of people, the system's quite powerful, and our guys are quite skilled at what they do. They can make this place sound really nice.
For people who give us shit for having like big bands play, yeah, I mean, we have big bands play here. It's a big room. We don't book anything that we don't like. The great thing about booking somebody really big is that you get to put small people on, and it's a genuine way to expose people to the artists that you feel are truly important.
I don't know where
And it's funny, like, that in this thing with 285, the space has become, like, so glorified because the whole point of the space is that it's, like, disposable and that it means nothing. The space itself is total shit, and everything about the space is total shit, and that's the point.
There's about a 30% chance this is gonna go down. But can I get Todd P to the center of the circle? Todd P. Todd P to the center of the circle. Come on, get the fuck in there, Todd. Ladies and gentlemen, all of the Batman villains and Spider-Man heroes in one person! The Force!
I feel like Todd P is like, I don't know, like he's like Professor X to me in a lot of ways. And I don't live in New York, so I'm not one of the X-Men, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I learned a lot from Todd. And I think one of the main things that you learn from Todd is that so many people are gonna give you an endless amount of shit. And that you just can't care. Because for every person that gives you shit, there's 100 people that are just there having an amazing time. And it had a really lasting impression on me because I get a lot of shit.
I remember Todd saying it to me. He was like, dude, you can do this. Like, I don't understand what you're waiting for me to do or what you think I'm doing. And it was what he said to everybody. And now all of us are doing our own thing, and it's awesome. And it's great for like the community that there's all this stuff going on. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for Todd. And like, you know, he's definitely done a lot of great shit, and he continues to do a lot of great shit. And I feel like he gets way too much shit for what he does, because I don't even know why. I can't speculate why people hate, but I'm sure they hate because they think they're not cool enough. But like the reality of all of this is like, none of us are cool. Like all of us are like the biggest fucking nerds and fanboys. And if we weren't doing this, we'd like have blogs or fanzines or something. You know, we'd be doing whatever we could to proliferate the music we like. But it's not because we're just like, dude, we're gonna get like the coolest fucking people in here. We're gonna be the coolest, and like, let's keep these nerds out. But I feel like that's what internet hate is. It's just like people feeling like they're excluded. But like this place and places like it, it's like, that's the last fucking thing in the world we think about.
285 was cool because you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could smoke weed, you could get naked, but also you could stay really late. The music would end and the lights would come on and these tweakers would still be there, like twerking, like, no! Turn the lights off! We want music! But I guess, like 285, all things must go to rest.
2 years ago, I had exactly the same conversations with people about Monster Island, which is just down the block. Except now it's just a pile of bricks surrounded by a blue construction wall. When that place was going, everybody wanted to save it. Everyone was saying how much the neighborhood would miss it and how much it wouldn't be, how much, you know, there'd be a hole in the scene without it. And it's not that that stuff wasn't true, it's just that it's actually more true than they knew. It just wasn't the same scene anymore. If you were to resurrect that building right there or try and do what we were doing there in the building next door to it, it wouldn't be cool, it wouldn't be fun. It's shitty over there now, you know? And it's shitty over there partially because the place is gone, but also, you know, things came in to fill the void that you wouldn't want to be around. And the same thing will happen here, and it's already happening. And so what I'm saying is, it's not that I'm at peace with this place closing because I think what was going on here is going to suddenly immediately resurrect itself in the same way, effortlessly somewhere else. It's that I think you can't do anything about it. Yeah. you know? I think that it's important to keep pushing forward and trying to find ways to make this kind of spirit exist. I don't think it happens organically. I don't think it happens without people trying. I don't think it happens without somebody being deliberate about it.
You try to make your place, you try to have it for as long as you can, but you know, nobody's gonna live in New York forever, but I definitely wanna hang out and have awesome shows and meet people and give them the opportunity to play like a really sick show in New York for as long as I can. Because it's the only thing that's fun.
I feel so excited to play this song. We shot our video for this song here. We played it the first time here. I feel like it's kind of the reason people liked us at first. And I just want to thank all the people involved in 285, especially Rick and Todd and Caitlin and man, like Alon. Do you want to thank everybody? Who? Oh yeah, Siobhan. I don't know, man. Yeah, Jacobson, fuck. A lot of people are involved here. Anyway, this is our last song and we're really excited to play it. It's called Doused. Thank you.
Like, sure, 285 isn't going to be like remembered in the annals of history. We're not going to have like, you know, an NYU musicology course 15 years from now on like 285 Kent, what it did and what it will continue to do for music. Like, that's not going to happen. But for the last few years, it was an awesome fucking place to have shows, the same way that are countless other spaces. And in my mind, a space existing in New York in one of the most like aggressive economic climates and also one of the most aggressive, I don't know, virtual worlds possible. Like, I can't imagine running a DIY space in Brooklyn with the internet presence that there is today. I just can't imagine making a single decision in Brooklyn. It's crippling to think like, I'm gonna do something that's gonna be really heavily critiqued by infinite numbers of strangers, and I'm gonna do it for probably negative $1,000. Let's go! You know, like, I can't imagine doing that. Yet so many people do it. And that's why it's great.
Honestly, like, for me, I don't really see any other kind of future that's not in a place like this. It's really hard for me to think that. Yeah, I don't know. Just keep going, throwing shows and. Yeah.
It was emotional, man. I remember doing coat check at 285 on mushrooms. And that was the first time and only time Rick ever screamed at me, which is pretty funny. And I also met a girl that I had dated for the next 2 years after that very night. It was Halloween 2011, and that was the only time it ever snowed that year.
I'll miss this place. I'll miss these walls, you know? I mean, every time I see a picture of a band playing in front of this, I'll remember being here and I'll remember the smell. And my clothes will still smell like it for a long time.